Merry meet. You are joining Country Dwellers. Good morning. I am Runa.
Good morning. I am Marilyn, the PNW High Priestess, and this is Season 3, Episode 5 of
What?
Country Dweller. I know, Episode 5 already. I know. We
Wow.
have been on this, baby. We've been doing really good. Knock on wood.
Last week, this week, I always say welcome to our little
Little
cottage,
cottage in the woods.
internet,
Yes.
but it
Oh,
feels kind
yes.
of weird because you're there and I'm here. And
Well,
I mean, it is a little bit, but
it's still our cottage on the internet. That's exactly what we were doing before. You know what I'm saying? Like we still had that sacred space on the internet that we connect, and that is still what it is, right? So I'm gonna close my
absolutely.
office door. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Oh, sure.
Hi guys. The monkeys just woke up, got dressed, came down. Dad's taking care of everything this morning. So, hey, look at that. I got him trained. Just joking, girl. He got me trained. So,
Oh yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
what's been going on, baby cakes?
Oh, I'm sorry. We were both saying, hey, what's going on?
How you been doing this past week?
Oh my gosh, breathe and smoke.
Yeah. Dude, I look at that. I have that I think it's like My Radar or something like that I downloaded, and it shows where all the fires are. Runa, the entire West Coast from PNW all the way down to the Southwest tip, like on fire. And I read this morning, because I do a quick scroll through my Facebook before I actually get my ass out of bed. And it's kind of like my wake up time, and wonderful thing to wake up to, right? But anyway, I saw that they are starting to evacuate Chelan, and that's close. You know what I mean? And I know so many people that live over in Chelan, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm really worried. Like I'm worried.
I have family in Eugene.
Yeah.
And the air has been brown. Like
Mm-hmm.
the air quality index has been over 400. Like it hasn't dipped below 400 and been up in like the 500s. They have to like basically put on military mop gear to go walk the dog.
Yeah, like I haven't even left the house, dude. Like and the other day, Babe went to Costco and he wanted to go on Saturday. And I'm like, no, because that was the day that it got really bad here, I mean, it's still really bad, but not as bad as Seattle or Oregon, or California, And so I'm like, no, wait until Sunday, because I don't want you breathing that stuff, And Sunday it was even bad. Yesterday it was still bad. Today it's still bad. Like, but thank God
it spiked up here to like 284, which is super unhealthy. Like I could feel it. My eyes were because I have to work right now. I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm in and out. But so, still, I just have to go from the store to the car and then back and forth. But I tell you what, even with recirculate on in my vehicle, my eyes were burning, my nose was burning, my throat was like, it felt like my throat was scratchy. When I got home at the end of the day, my lungs hurt. I had to shower and just like do a whole like steam bath with eucalyptus and
exactly, to clear you out. Like I don't even let my dogs out for more than like a couple minutes. I'm like, go out, do your business, and get your asses back in.
Oh my God.
Even when they come in, Maisie is sneezing or coughing, and I'm like, oh my God, no.
Yeah,
and my throat's been itchy, and then the other day I had a sinus migraine, and we're bitching about this, and people are losing their fucking houses.
I know, and that's the thing.
And lives.
We're all being impacted in, on a spectrum from, losing absolutely everything to, putting our health in danger. And
right.
And so that has been a huge focus for me. And I was talking with the Viking over the weekend. We went out on the boat, which, we didn't know that there was going to be a, bank of smoke rolling in, and we saw it coming. It was so bizarre. And I tried to get footage of it, but the camera
scared the shit out of me, to be quite honest with you.
Oh my gosh, it was so unreal. And poor Louisiana's dealing with hurricane and
in Florida.
Yes. Oh, I just it's insane. And like people, every time someone says wildfire, I'm like, nope, climate fire. These are climate fires. These are absolutely human problems, and Mother Nature is once again fixing our hair and saying, wake up.
She is the most abused fucking woman that I've ever known. You know what I'm saying? And it's extremely sad. It's extremely sad right now. And one of my biggest fears is, that the commercial builders are going to say, oh, well, hey, all this stuff's burnt down anyway, so let's reuse the land and put commercial shit on there. You know what I'm saying? I'm really fucking worried about it. Not just commercial builders, but residential builders as well. Like I'm really worried that they are going to take advantage of this situation. You know what I'm saying? I hope not too, but it popped into my head and it scared the shit out of me,
So going back to kind of what I started with before I went off on the tangent about the smoke wall moving in onto the water, I was thinking about all of the old Roma magic that I kind of grew up with, and weather, working with weather is a big part of that. And everything from, just silly things like standing outside and raising your broom over your head to bringing the garden frog in to the house and putting it in a dark spot for a few moments is supposed to, call the rain gods in. Or washing your car, right? Everybody knows that one. Go wash your car and that'll bring the rain. So all you witches out there, go wash your car.
You bet.
Yeah, so all of that lore, and it seems rather silly, but at this point and how bad everything is, I'm willing to do it all.
Exactly, babe. So I know, like, you did yours and I did mine, and so I'm hoping that, and we didn't even know we were doing stuff, and so I'm hoping that, and I know we're not the only ones doing it.
Oh no.
I'm hoping that, all of us putting that energy out into the world will definitely help bring the rain, much needed rain, So I know that you have a spell today. I got a spell today. You did a spell jar. I did some drumming, which I'm probably going to do more of today, to be quite honest with you. It felt really nice to drum. I hadn't drummed in quite some time. And, with the Roma magic, you're doing a lot with weather. And then, of course, like, every tradition I know deals with earth and weather and all of those things, it's funny how we all deal with the same elementals, but just do the different traditions do things a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty fantastic. So are you going to count your spell jar as your brew today?
I am.
Good.
Actually.
Okay, good. Because I saw that it was liquid. So good for you.
Yeah,
all right.
It is. So
Okay.
yeah, so I did a rain summoning spell jar.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of witch jar in the Roma tradition, a witch jar in the Norse tradition,
Yeah.
um, which are the two that kind of intersect in my life mostly. I borrow from a lot of practices, but make them my own. Back in the day, this jar would have used glitter, but I have a no glitter rule in my household.
What?
I know there's people listening going, what? When you have 5 kids under one roof, there's no glitter allowed.
Oh my
There's
God.
no Play-Doh allowed. It's just too much.
Girl, whenever I wear makeup, which is hardly ever, but whenever I wear makeup, you bet your ass I'm wearing glitter. That's all I have to say. My husband looks like he's been in a strip club. He's in with me.
But honestly, you could use glitter in this spell recipe, so as it were, but I had glitter beads that I used instead.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So there's glitter beads. Well, first of all, I used strawberry moon rainwater that I had collected.
Mm-hmm.
So my cupboard of jars last night, and I was like, oh yes, that's strawberry moon when it was raining and good and perfect. And yes, I'm using that water and the glitter beads. And there's a drop, just one drop of blue food coloring, just for visualization.
Mm-hmm.
While I was making this, too, I should say, I was listening to rain sounds.
Yes, that's one of the most important things to do. Agreed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to the rain sounds. And then there's a drop of clear soap in here, and that's just to help suspend the beads and the aquamarine stones. I put 13 little tiny aquamarine stones in here. Good. Represent even further water element, and aquamarine is positivity and optimism, which you know, we need to be optimistic about the level of rain because we don't want a deluge either.
Correct.
On this dry land, that would be terrible. Correct. Especially for the desert areas. And then I did a sigil for healing rain for the whole West Coast. So that's my sigil there.
Nice.
Sealed it with a kiss and set my intention and put it on my altar with a white candle for, you know, a couple of hours until the little tea candle burned out. And and then I just shake it. I just come back to my altar each morning and shake it, reset that intention, and just leave it on my altar, and I'll leave it there until the quarter moon because we don't want to do too much again, right? We'll talk later about going too far when you're doing your magic. Well, so that's it.
I like that. Perfect. Perfect. I used water as well, but it was from my recent Pisces moon. So
that's good. That's good.
Pisces or Cancer? I think it was Cancer. I can't remember. Fuck. What day is today? I don't know. So yeah. So
pandemic world. I don't know,
girl. So last week for me, what did we do? This past weekend we got the garage floor finally painted completely.
No.
Yeah. We got all the gym equipment set up with the rubber mats on the floor and everything. The mirrors,
I'm so jealous.
The mirrors hanging on the wall. So every day, like this week so far after dinner, well, I mean, since like Saturday night, we've after dinner we've gone out to the garage as a family and worked out. It's been amazing. The boys too.
Oh, that's so good. I love it.
Girl, I'm loving it so much. And I finally got to break open my my shake plate that I got. You know, it's that vibrating plate. And I swear to God, my low back was killing me. And every night I get on it for like 5 to 10 minutes, and it just kind of readjusts my entire body, and my low back is not hurting anymore.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I've never seen so much fat shaking on one being, but you know, it kind of feels good because I'm like, shake away, shake away, shake away, you know? So yeah, so we've been working out every night. And then last Saturday night, you know, I'm part of the Seattle Psychics Association. And so last Saturday night we did drunken divination. Oh my God. Oh my God. I got so shit-faced. It was unreal. And then the next day I found out what damage I had actually done. I drank a bottle and a half of wine myself. And all I can say is thank God for Babe the next day because I was not functioning. I was not functioning. It was not. I mean, it was fun doing it, but the next day it was not so fun. No.
Oh my gosh.
But it was really a lot of fun doing it. And then this Saturday, we've got our monthly virtual psychic experience coming from 12 to noon. So I'm really excited about that as well. That's about, I mean, that's still a lot, but you know, always working on marketing. That's pretty much, and the online school for the kids, you know, but every day they're getting better and better at it, more independent every day. So it's really nice, you know, it's nice. What else have you been doing this week?
Well, I you know, since the full moon in Pisces, and my little ancestral visitor, I had to remember that I need to do protection. And you don't just do it once. You have to kind of, you know, do some maintenance and supply. And so I did a protection spell so I wasn't being woken up in the middle of the night by the spirits. And because, you know, sleep's important, and a witch cannot function on 2 hours of sleep a night because people are tapping her on the shoulder and saying, I have a message for you. But I've been really focused on dream work and you know, dialing up and dialing down my psychic ability and stuff, because I have goals in the future. I'm not ready to talk about them yet, but I'm practicing and really kind of focusing. That's been a kind of a positive of being isolated and being in this pandemic world is I can do those things because there's not all these outside
responsibilities.
Well, there's still responsibilities. Kids are driving me nuts, but you know, I mean, you got your kids there and I can imagine they're driving you nuts. But there's something about having adult children who are not stable in a regional apocalyptic scenario that is very stressful. So,
you know, some people think that like when your kids turn 18 and they move out, like your responsibility's done. No, you're a parent until you die. You know what I'm saying? That responsibility is not done until you're gone.
Yeah, you know? And it actually, that whole balance of parenting and allowing them to, you know, flourish and fail. They can't flourish unless they fail, because that's how we learn. Is really hard when they're adults.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so but there's less outside, you know. It's not like, hey, well, I'm gonna go hiking because everybody and their flippin' uncle is out on the trails right now, and it's so weird. Like
even during the work days, right?
I've been hiking for years. I go and I walk and I explore and I, you know, forage, and there are people everywhere now, and I don't have the kind of time, because I'm working, to, you know, go out into the wilderness. That's something that requires, you know, way more time than what I have.
Right.
But anyways, so I'm focusing on really honing my psychic skills and working with the spirits, as opposed to just listening to the strongest ones. And a lot of times it's dream work that helps me with that. And so I was having just incredible dreams that they were disturbing. They were, just a punch in the face kind of message kind of stuff. And we talked about it. It was like,
Right.
oops, I forgot to do my little protection.
Mm-hmm.
So I did 2 spells. I did one for the hedge riding and I did one for the dream work. And now I can't remember any of my dreams. So I went way overboard and I think I've gotten one message. So I have to sit down and do some meditations this week and kind of balance out that spell work, because this little mojo bag with amethyst and obsidian and tourmaline and lavender, my little sigil on it is a little too strong.
I've been going through the non-sleeping as well, like for the past 3 weeks now, 3 or 4 weeks now. I'm getting like maybe 4 hours of solid sleep. And then the rest of the time I'm continuously waking up. I'm hearing stuff around my house. And you need to know that I have not done a boundary cleanse in a minute, so that's definitely one thing I need to do. But I'm hearing sounds around my house. And when I'm getting woken up, it's weird because I'm almost a feeling of fear is coming over me, and I'm like, what the hell, and then last night I got woken up in the middle of the night because I kept hearing stuff. So I looked we have the Xfinity alarm system, so I looked around my house with all the cameras and everything, and I could swear I saw something in my dining room. And then I looked on my Ring camera on my front porch and I could swear I saw some people on my front porch, but nobody was getting close. They were like standing at the edge. You know what I'm saying? The person sitting at my dining room table was literally sitting at my dining room table, almost like waiting,
I'm here for my card reading.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay. And we've talked, like the Samhain's already here for some of us. Like that veil has already been lifted, and I was feeling it at the end of August. And now I'm seeing stuff and hearing stuff. And I'm like, okay, all right. I preach protection all the time, and I do protection all the time, but with that feeling of fear, I'm like, okay, I need to amp it up a little bit because I shouldn't be feeling fearful in my home.
Well, you have a great opportunity to redo that boundary protection.
Oh, I know. With Virgo,
the 17th is the new moon in Virgo. Hello.
Well, the one moon, and I love the new moon. The one moon that I'm really celebrating is on my birthday, and that's the dark moon. And I fucking love the dark moon, and that's in Virgo. So I'm going to be Wednesday. I think I'm going to turn everything off and just hibernate and allow myself to really do some cleansing, release magic and things like that. So yeah. Let's talk about, we got your brew covered already. Let's talk about our weekly goals for this week. I want to make that a part of our weekly as well, because I think that when you and I do that, we're kind of making a promise to ourselves and to each other, that we want to fulfill. Let's talk about a goal for this week. What goal are you setting?
Just to be conscious and aware that Mars is in retrograde, and that is my ruling planet. And it's in Aries, which is the sign that I have the most kind of conflict with.
Yeah, you're not the only
and I have 2 very powerful women in my life who are Aries that are part of my immediate family, my mother and my daughter. And I am right now not exactly happy with either one of them. And I just need to be aware that there's that extra emotion, that extra kind of warrior conflict ethos that's being brought up inside of me. And kind of my goal is to go deeper in it and figure out where I can use this energy to transcend situations or just my own spiritualness. I'm trying very, very hard to embrace the crone zen, if you will. I've been a type A, go, let's hit these problems dead on, try to fix it right now person my entire life. And I can see, looking back, where sometimes that type of energy was wrong. Again, it's just like the whole dream work and protection spell that I did too much. Right?
I wouldn't say it was wrong. It wasn't wrong because you went at it with beautiful, authentic intention.
Absolutely.
So I don't say that I don't think that it was wrong.
Yeah, but that's probably the wrong, language is important, but sometimes you need to just wait. You need to wait. You need to be, you need to let a situation play out.
Yes.
You necessarily can't affect change. And especially when you're talking about relationships and dealing with other people.
Yeah.
You can't control other people. And that's kind of my goal, is just to be aware of the influences on me, how it's making me feel, and use it as an opportunity as opposed to suffering, as it were. Right?
Good.
The last time Mars was in retrograde, my life was in complete upheaval. There was a positive goal, but there were some very awful, awful times during that 3 months, that summer of 2018. And I don't want to go through that again. Good. So that's kind of my work, is just to be aware. Yesterday or Sunday night, I was super angry and depressed. Everything's going on, and you just have to sit back and take a breath and ask yourself, I say to myself all the time as a combat vet, nobody's shooting at you, ain't nobody gonna die, right? And I just have to, sit back, take a breath, and remind myself, what can I affect change on? What is gonna make, what action or what thought or, what words, as the case may be, is going to create my best and highest good. And that's my goal for this week, is just to be aware and try to embrace that crone zen. I mean, I laugh and just say, I have to become best friends with I don't give a fuck. And
you do. And it's not like you mean I don't give a fuck, but
right.
I think that when we allow ourselves to say that, we allow ourselves to acknowledge what we're trying not to really give, or what we're trying not to allow to get to us, you know what I'm saying? So it gives us a minute to acknowledge it. And I think one of the most important things that you're setting for yourself is that acknowledgement and that reminder: before I speak, I'm going to step back and I'm going to take that breath. I mean, I think that is, and that's what I've been telling my clients, is that's the most important thing to remember about this. Before you open your mouth, take a step back, especially with Mercury going into retrograde. You know what I mean? So take a step back, and think about.
Wait, when is Mercury going into retrograde?
October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you're already well, some of us are already feeling, Mercury's my planet, so I'm already feeling it, so we have to remember to take that step back, and not only so we can view from a different perspective, but so we can speak from a different perspective, And I think that's really where that crone zenness comes into play.
My other goal is to try to figure out exactly what I'm going to do for my bone. So
yeah, which is coming up on the 22nd. Exactly. I know what I'm doing for my bone.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What's your goal?
For my weekly goal, I think, I think I want to utilize the waning moon as much as I possibly can, and let go of, the imbalances that I'm fearing, or that I'm feeling, and also make sure that I do the hallowed smoke cleanse around my house, and my salt barrier, and my gratitude, and all that stuff. I want to go ahead and do that on my birthday, so tomorrow. And then on new moon, I want to go ahead and set the boundaries for positivity once again. So first I'm going to release all the negative, and then I'm going to set all those positive boundaries again. So that's my goal.
That's a good goal
this week. Yeah. But I want to make sure that I don't allow that fear to be the reason that I'm doing all of this. Just acknowledge that's not the reason. The reason is that it's been a minute since I've done it. And we need to always refresh on that, right?
We did ours when we moved into this property, but that was the solstice.
Yeah.
And it's time to do it again. I mean, that's a good way for witches to kind of look at the wheel of the year is, oh, hey, it's time to refresh and renew and do that maintenance for yourself.
Right.
Protection is not a one-time thing. It should be the basis of any type of craft work that you're doing, but you have to renew it.
Yeah. That's the one thing I teach my students. That's what we learn, what I teach them first is protected boundaries. And you have to have that. Like if you're learning any kind of magic, if you're connecting with divine whatsoever, even when you're creating your sacred space, you have to know how to create those boundaries so that space can be sacred.
Right.
I mean, when you're creating magic within it, you have to fucking make sure it's safe. You know what I'm saying? So what you doing for your reduce, reuse, recycle this week?
We're talking about dryer sheets. So this is a brand new one. And this is what mine look like when I'm done with it. I don't just use it once. I keep using it. I keep using it until my laundry basket is full. And then what you can do with them is many uses, but they can be used for dust cloths. I'll grab a pile out of them and I'll go in the car and wipe down the car with them. It's amazing what they do. And then they'll get tossed in that. I've used them in storage, like for deep storage of soft goods, like linens and laundry and, clothing or whatever, seasonal clothing.
Right.
And you can also use them in little sewing projects. So I've made little poppets with them.
Oh, nice.
And pillows or what have you. There was a pillowcase that somebody gifted us for the boat. And it had this old-timey old pirate ship on it. And our boat looks very kind of piratey. And I stuffed it with dryer sheets.
That's awesome. I love that.
And I love that. When you use it to store stuff in deep storage, it helps keep bugs away.
Oh yeah, for
like
sure.
It. I am trying to move away from these again. Back in the day when I had sticks and bricks before, I used dryer balls for the dryer. But in the rig and on the boat, there was no way to you can't really use those. You do laundry, you do it all at once. And I couldn't store 4 machines worth of dryer balls, right?
No.
So
I'm going to open my door for my dog.
Oh, sure. But for those listening, I went back to using these little babies.
Good. It's so funny that you called upon the dryer sheets today, because that's what I had too. And I was going to use them for the dusting. So yeah, I mean, they're great for the dusting.
They're awesome.
And sometimes, if you're one that likes to use the feather duster, like when I do my deep dusting, I use my rag, but when I'm just doing I'm gonna clean that house really quick, I use my feather duster. But they're really good to cut, and then you put a rubber band around them, around one end, and you can just, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of cool that way too.
Cool.
But
I like it.
For my reuse, reduce, recycle this week, I took, we have cats too. So we save up, we buy that fresh stuff, but we buy it in the plastic container totes, because it lasts longer. And we save those totes because we reuse them for like Christmas ornaments and things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Storage, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
They're really good little storage things, not too big, not too small, right? So I have reused a few of those to put them out in my yard and fill them with water for any animals that are in need of water right now because of the fires. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, 'cause you have a wildlife corridor right at the back of your property.
Exactly. And even if you don't now with the fires, I mean, they're coming into the cities now because they're trying to escape,
Poor
And
baby.
so anybody has that ability, put those bowls of water out there for the animals and make sure you change them every day. Because when ash gets into them, then they can turn, toxic. So make sure that you do change out that water every day.
And you can use the ashy water on your plants and gardens because that's actually good fertilizer for your plants.
Yeah. So I mean, there you go, right? Especially since we're not having too much rain yet. That would be very good. Oh, I know. And like you were doing that, I was drumming yesterday, so yesterday I drummed for rain, which I'll probably do again today. And we did get some rain. I can tell from my rose leaves. So that's nice. And so I'm going to keep calling it in today, drumming, spelling, chanting, all that stuff.
We have puddles on the ground here.
That's good.
I felt a little, sometimes when you're working magic and shit starts happening like right away, it's a little spooky.
But it's awesome at the same time.
But at the same time, I was like, yes, but, visualizing, we need it from San Diego all the way up and through the entire, I mean, even Idaho has horrible air quality right now and fires.
It's insane. That's one of the things I used to do when I lived in Vegas too. I would call in the rain by putting on the storm tracks, the rain music that I have, and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
And I shit you not, like hours later, it would start raining and giving the desert some water. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing how when you really tune into Mother Earth and really tune into, Gaia, that you can help create that energetic change. I think one of the things that created so much fire too is all the anger going on in our world right now. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I mean, think about that anger within us. We explode, it burns us up. And I think that's part of the reason why I know there's, fucking fires, but I think that's part of the reason that there's so much fire going on too, is the anger. We're feeding her with too much anger.
What does your shirt say? It's driving me crazy.
It says, don't let the muggles get you down. Fucking muggles.
That's what my pops used to tell me all the time. He'd just say, don't let the bastards get you down. But
dang muggles.
I like it.
Thank you. So what for me, the putting the bowls of water out there for the animals is one of the ways that I feel I can help not just bring change, but help out with all this fire stuff, right?
So it's a healing act.
Exactly. If you had a chance to help out with these fires in some way, what would you do? What would be one of the things that you would do?
I mean, I've just been thinking about rain
Yes.
and protection for all the firefighters who have
Yes.
been fighting.
Oh my gosh. And they're coming from all over the world. Have you seen that?
Oh,
All
I
over the
saw this
world.
picture of these firefighters like just asleep on a gravel
I
berm. Like
know.
they were just so exhausted and like all curled up in the fetal position, you know, just sheer exhaustion.
Yeah.
And there's activity going on all around them and they are dead
Out.
asleep. And I was
Yes.
like, I remember being that tired when I was in the service, and you're doing these operations and it's non-stop.
Right.
There's no downtime at all. Like you're shoveling food in your face. You're hoping
If you're able to eat, you
if
know
you're
what I'm
even able
saying?
to eat, because when you're like in such a hyper focused situation like that, if you can drink water, you're doing good. You're
Right.
doing good. Yeah.
And I mean, think about it. They're out there, that heat is fucking blazing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The smoke is deafening, you
Yeah.
know? And I mean, they're out there in all that gear, which is
Mm-hmm.
heavy AF.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, on their feet, doing all this work, fighting all these fires, trying to protect I mean, that's, God love them, because that is a lot, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and much respect
Yeah.
to anyone out there
Mm-hmm.
helping to damper these flames and these fires and protect.
And I go back to just how I'm trying to live, how I'm trying to live with the land
Mm,
and you know, move our existence to away from fossil fuels,
mhm.
and work with, you know, it, with the permaculture philosophies in having plants work together and using all natural stuff to grow food and
Right.
to, you know, protect and heal the land. I mean, the land that we got is fairly healthy, but it could be so much more
But
because
you know, I mean, with your continuous care for it, I guarantee that I mean, you guys are going to make amazing things out of that land. And look at how much you've harvested already.
oh
Holy
yeah,
shit.
the Vikings spent the entire afternoon and right up until bedtime pressing apples. Uh, and we got about 8 quarts of cider that he'll brew, but there's still like a third of the harvest left that needs
That's,
to be done.
that's
So,
crazy,
yeah,
you know, and this is just your first year there.
yeah,
Imagine continuous giving back to the land, loving the land, growing here and then taking a break and then growing here, because you have that room to do that, you know.
yeah.
That's I mean, your bounty is going to be amazing on that property. So you're very
So
blessed.
that's how I help with these climate fires. I'm trying to live in a manner that is more aware of my impact. And it's hard. It's not easy because things like solar power are not readily available. I
Yeah.
mean, they're more available now than they used to be, but it's still a huge investment. You know, I think new houses should be built with solar power.
Oh, I agree.
Sure.
I agree
Like
100%.
all of this, you know, traditional hooked up to gas, although I love cooking. But if that's all I'm using my gas for is for cooking, that's living within means, as
Mhm.
opposed to, you know, I've got, you know, gas heat or and I'm not insulated properly or what have you. Like
Yeah.
there's you know, we could talk for hours on, you know, all the things that you could do, but it annoys me that we're still building houses traditionally. What? And the fires in Oregon, again, they were preventable. Right before in August, there was legislation up to fund mitigation, and a certain political party stepped out and left the session in protest, and so that bill died. And it would have prevented probably about 300,000 acres worth of fires because it would have been implemented right away. And that is so frustrating to me.
So what bill was that?
It was brought up from a congressperson in Oregon. She said, we need to do this and we need to do it now because we're at risk. You know, basically an emergency bill.
Yeah, gotcha.
And, you know, they, instead of taking care of the planet and people, they walked out on principle of something really stupid. And now we've got, you know, the whole of Oregon burning.
Yeah.
It's just annoying to me.
I mean, there are cities that are demolished. Entire fucking cities.
Oh yeah. No, I was talking with my family in Eugene last night, and they were, you know, from Roseburg, I mean, up the entire I-5 corridor is just on fire.
Yeah.
It's on fire.
People are still unaccounted for. And the ones that are accounted for are fucking homeless now. They have nothing. Right. All of their things are gone up in flames, you know? And it's so saddening. It's just what we have done, what we still continue to fucking do is so saddening. It breaks my heart. And every day I'm finding it a little bit harder to stay positive and stay strong. And so I'm kind of allowing myself to say, you know what, maybe it's not the positivity I need to put out there. That may not be it. Maybe it's this is the hurt and pain I'm feeling. Let's make something of that and allow myself to feel that mourning of what's going on in the world right now, so I can connect a little bit deeper to her. You know what I mean? It's fucking heartbreaking. There's my Hummer again.
I see.
I like that. I like all that. And yes, there are so many ways that we can choose to connect and protect and not necessarily even live off the grid, but definitely live in a more respectable manner to our Mother Earth, for sure. For sure. Do we want to talk about moon, or do we want to talk about the tarot card now? What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's do moon and then tarot. But you know, we've got you know, the waning crescent today, and moving into dark moon and new moon. And so my yoga practice during these next couple of days is going to be things like child pose and low lunges and, you know, resetting intentions for not only my yoga practice, but my spiritual practice, my craft, and of course, you know, whenever we get a new moon, a quarter moon, full moon, what have you, it's all about moon salutations, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
if people are, you know, just starting yoga, because I honestly, there's few witches out there that I know that don't have some sort of physical practice as well, and many of them do yoga. And so you know, those are the kinds of things that I'm going to be looking at. And if you are looking for some kind of guidance for doing a practice with the moon, which I find really, really helpful, because those planetary influences, including the moon, are pretty significant on your body.
Yes.
And when I woke up this morning, I was like, oh, I need to do child pose. I need it now.
I definitely agree with a lunar aspect of yoga, for sure. For sure. And there's different ways that you can do it, you know, like especially when I'm going into dark moon. I love yin yoga, just that opening, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of, as you're opening, as you're allowing yourself to receive that ability to open, you're doing it by releasing the toxins, releasing that blockage, you know what I'm saying? So I love that during waning moon, for sure. And dark moon, you know, is I have to say I love my full moons, but dark moon has been becoming my favorite moon.
Same.
I love it. I love it. And
it's a fresh start every month. It's awesome.
And I love the shadow magic that I'm doing with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I love that aspect of it. So I love it.
Other planetary and influences is, of course, the equinox.
Mm-hmm.
Babone on the 22nd.
Right.
Enter Libra season. So some balancing of those scales, huzzah. And then on the 28th, Saturn goes direct after being in retrograde since May.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that that is going to make some details way more clear. You know, you're going to see more of the story, right? Whatever that is for your particular stuff, right?
I think that also people will feel a little bit less constrained, a little bit less stuck. So I think be able to feel as though you can move forward with some things, for sure.
Yeah. And then the 29th, Mars and Saturn are square. And there's going to, you know, that freedom that we were just feeling is going to come down a little bit because balance, right? You can't like go crazy, but I think for me, and I hope actually that means this new job that I'm working towards is going to come to fruition. And by the 29th, I'm going to be way more into kind of a routine and the confinement of a routine, which is not necessarily a bad thing in my world.
No, so, it's not. It's not. Mm-mm. Having a routine is a good thing. Yes. Being too anal about the routine, that's something to look into. Yeah. Yeah. Not because when you're too anal about it, you're giving up that ability to flow with what's actually going on because life fucking happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. Yeah. But a routine is healthy, I believe. Yeah. It keeps me in line, and it keeps me active, you know, like, okay, I got this, now I need to do that, you know what I'm saying? And being the Virgo that I am, when I don't get that list done, I'm like, and that's what we talked about, like I have to stop beating myself up. That's why I started making more attainable goals, you know. So yeah, I like the organization. For sure.
Shall we pull a card before we depart?
I pulled the Queen of Cups today. And
oh my goodness.
Yeah, and right? And I pulled her in reverse. And when she comes to us in reverse, she's when she comes to us upright, she's that compassion, you know, she's that emotional reminder of, hey, be compassionate. You know what I'm saying? When she comes to us in reverse, she's this reminder of self-love. Because you know that reverse is the more introspective, right? Yeah. She's the reminder that to love the earth is to also love ourselves, especially right now. You know what I'm saying? And when to love ourselves, to love the earth is to love ourselves, and when we give ourselves that self-care, we should also remember that our earth needs that self-care as well. You know what I mean? So give her some love too, especially now, especially with the cups. Let's give her some love by thinking about that rain, that beautiful quenching rain, you know.
Can you imagine all of our listeners pushed some of their energy towards that manifestation?
Right?
That would be awesome.
Right?
So awesome.
And so I wrote a spell today too, and today is September 15th. And
before you go into that though, I want you to remind everybody where they can find us.
Oh yeah, go for it. They can find us fucking everywhere. We everywhere. We are on Facebook, Country Dwellers. We are on Instagram at Country Dwellers, but with a Z. We are on Twitter, same. We are on YouTube is where you can watch our videos with our podcasts. And then, God, on what, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, and there's a few other ones that we're on too. You can listen to our podcast as you're cleaning your house or driving or whatever.
Or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And
we are also at countrydollars.com.
Yes.
We need some fall cleaning, and I'm hoping to get to that very soon.
Yeah, because we're already on episode 5.
I know. I am just one witch.
Oh, girl. I know.
I know you know.
Trust me on that. I know. The other day I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm not doing enough magic lately. But then I thought, wait a minute. With my Instagram posts, with all that, I am doing that magic because I'm not only teaching, but I'm putting spells out there and things like that is fucking magic. Stop it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So.
All right, let's do this spell.
All right, ready? We call for rain, we call it down from the heavens onto the ground. No wind, no hail, no lightning strike, just drops that damper the fires with all their might. No floods, no landslides, no turning ash into clay, just healing drops that lovingly wash the flames away. And so it is.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. Thanks for listening. Go in peace, love, and light.
The circle is open, but unbroken. Until we meet again, my darlings, merry part and blessed be.